Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay is the all-new for 2022 Hyper Hybrid coaster built by Rocky Mountain Construction, opening up at Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay on March 11th. I recently had the chance to ride this a total of 17 times at the park on my 3 days I was there. I was there on Friday, February 11th, Saturday, February 12th, and Sunday, February 13th to ride Iron Gwazi. The official pass holders began on Sunday the 13th, and I only got one ride on that day because of how long the lines were, but I got a bunch of rides between the other 2 days. So today I'm going to talk about my experience at Iron Gwazi. So let's get started. Iron Gwazi is the newest coaster at the park. It actually has some pretty impressive stats. It stands at 206 feet, making it Florida's tallest roller coaster, and also making it the tallest RMC in North America, tied with the world's tallest, with Zadra. It is the steepest drop on an RMC roller coaster at a 91-degree angle, just a degree beyond vertical. You will never notice that difference between a 90-degree drop. So it's really just to break the record, and it speeds up to 76 miles per hour, which is the world's fastest RMC. So pretty impressive stats. The track length is just a little over 4,000 feet, and I think that is enough track that this ride needs. This ride, in my opinion, despite it may be short to some people, this ride is like the perfect length, especially for an RMC this aggressive. There are some elements on this ride that I just questioned myself when I was riding this. Because I've ridden two other RMCs. I've ridden Twisted Timbers, the King's Dominion, and Jersey Devil Coaster. And this ride is so different from all those other ones. Like, the airtime is way different. There's just some weird moments. And I gotta say one thing. This ride all over the place is just way different. This is like a unique RMC. And what they did with the original Gwazi was absolutely fantastic. What they were able to do with this coaster. So yeah. Let's get started with the entrance. So the entrance area is beautiful. Busch did a great job when it came to designing the entrance plaza for Iron Gwazi. This sign looks fantastic. It's not just over the entrance, it's actually over the station, and at nighttime it's lit up, so it makes the station and entrance really nice. It has a really nice feel to the area. The test seat looks nice, and overall the paint and all the greens and purples are nice. And it just has a really nice plaza. This part of the park used to be so dead. Like, I would go over here just to look at Iron Gwazi, or like I would pass to go by Sheikra. There would never be anybody over there. There was never anybody. But now, since Iron Gwazi is beginning, it is the area is alive. Like, it actually is really nice. The Gwazi Plaza is really nice. It's alive. Like, it's not dead anymore like it was at one point. So when you're wanting to get Iron Gwazi, you're gonna go under the amazing entrance sign, and you're gonna walk over to the area by the lockers. You're just gonna go straight into the queue. To the right of you is actually, to that queue entrance is where Quick Queue is entering. It's a bit of an odd setup, and then you actually walk right into the station if you're taking Quick Queue. But if you're taking the standby line, you're gonna enter there, and you're gonna hit your first set of switchbacks. Luckily enough, this queue is mostly indoors. So if it's like a light rain, or if it's raining out and the ride is like down here in line, don't worry about getting wet on the ride, unless if you're out in one part of the queue. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But this queue, you have some switchbacks, and then you're gonna hit an area where you're gonna then go into a turn left, and you're gonna go into like this big hallway. There's no switchbacks in it. It's just this big hallway corridor, and you're gonna go to your right following the walkway into more switchbacks. This is if the line is long. Then after that, you're going to hit into an area where you're going to turn left into the outside part of the queue. This is really the only part that is not covered. You're going to get some really nice views of the station building. Get some awesome views of the outside. You're going to get a nice view of that quick pre-lift right before the actual massive lift hill. Then after that, you're going to go right into the upwards area. You actually get to go under the track a few times in this part of the queue. You get under the track, and then you go to the upward spiral. The little buildings are pretty cool looking. And you get some nice views of the ride, especially the pre-lift, and you get to see all the excited riders going up. And so this is also a pretty nice covered area, and they're going to go into the station building. Because this station building used to be two separate roller coasters stations, they actually were able to put switchbacks in the old Tiger station. So when you're entering the Tiger station, you will then, instead of seeing the Tiger track, you're just in a bunch of switchbacks. And you can actually tell where the old station used to be, because it's like a little bit of a dip in one of the switchbacks, which I find pretty cool. When you enter the station, you will be assigned a row. You are actually able to also ask or request a row. Most of the time, you'll get it depending on the operator, or depending on how long the line for the front or back row is. Other than that, it's pretty easy. You either choose your own row, or you can just go into the row the ride out picks. I recommend trying this ride in the front row, but I also really say this is the back row ride. Back row 11 or 12, they are virtually the same, but I recommend both of them. If you don't want to wait in the long line, go for row 11. It's the same exact thing. But if you really want to be in the back, you can wait for the back. That's what I did for one of my rides, but if I was going for the back, I just went for row 11 because there's really no difference in the ride experience. Now let's get started on your ride experience in Iron Gwazi. You're first going to leave your station and take a left-hand turn out of the station to where you're going to be able to get a nice view of that queue, and you're actually going to go right under the queue on the train. It's actually a pretty nice moment of a little bit of a head chopper, not the best one, but a pretty nice one. Then you're going to engage your super classic loud RMC lift hill. Here's what this lift hill sounds like. That's a pretty loud lift hill, isn't it? But let's get back into this ride experience. You're climbing up the lift hill. You're going to climb to around 206 feet in the air. It's this cool thing when you actually hit the top of the lift hill, you actually slow down at the top, which I find it pretty fun, especially in the back row, because some people don't know when it's coming, and when it slows down, people get freaked out. It's quite funny seeing the GP's reaction. But it got me the first time, that is for sure, especially since I got my first ride in the back car, which, by the way, nighttime rides are actually great on this ride. So when you hit the slow down, then you're going to plunge down that 91-degree drop. In the front row, you get a nice dose of ejector, but in the back, when you get pulled over, you're getting ejected down the whole way. This drop feels like you're falling forever, and I don't get that feeling on many roller coasters. I grayed out on the bottom of this. I will say that I grayed out at the bottom of this first drop. This is the only RMC I've ever grayed out on, which is just insane. This ride has the positives. Then you're going to go up and over into this outwards bank turn. Very similar, I guess you could say, to the one on Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point. But this one isn't apparently as sustained, but it's a very sustained ejector moment. It's a really fun one. And honestly, it's a very good moment to start off the ride after that amazing first drop. And then after that amazing outwards bank airtime hill, you're going to go down into what us enthusiasts are calling the death roll. It is a 540-degree downwards drop, but we all call it the death roll because obviously it is. Now honestly, this element's actually really insane. It has some great whip going into it. It doesn't have airtime, but this is the only moment on the ride that I didn't get airtime on. But the whipping going down this inversion was just so much fun. The speed you get going down it is probably the best part of it. And the whip in the front is awesome. And you get a really nice whip out of it as well. It's overall, the death roll is actually one of my favorite parts of the ride. It's either my second or third favorite part. At first, it was my favorite just because I got a night ride and I didn't even expect it. After the amazing death roll, you're going to go into a very snappy overbank. It's a very fast-paced one. To snap out of it's actually really crazy. The snappiness of the overbank is actually really crazy, especially off-ride. You just see this train just snap. It's funny just to watch it. And overall, in the back row, you get a nice pop of ejector coming out of it. Nothing else really to say about the overbank. It gets the train to turn around with a great airtime moment coming out with a great snap also. After the overbank turn, you're going to go into the outwards bank turn over the station. This element's many people, including my favorite part of the ride. The ejector you get going into the roll is insane, and the ejector out of it is insane as well. You get sustained ejector the whole way, and that's a solid 3 to 4 seconds. It's insane. Overall, this element's really crazy, and just to snap into it's a lot of fun, and to snap out. Honestly, this element is the best element on the ride, and holy crap, it deserves it. After the outwards bank turn over the station, you're going to go into a quick pop of airtime as a twist. You get an amazing dose of ejector here. Basically just your traditional ejector, and then you go into another wall stall wave turn, another great ejector, and then the stall. This stall gives some insane hang time as well as some great ejector air in it for some reason. I gotta say one thing, it isn't my favorite stall. I do prefer the stall on Jersey Devil just because you get more hang time, but you don't get any airtime in that one. Iron Gwazi gets some airtime, but I do prefer Devil's stall over. After the stall, you're going to go into a quick pop of twisted ejector airtime. It's a very fun little moment of ejector, and then you go into his quick double down. It's like a twisted type of trick track double down. The first hill you get some sustained ejector, and the second hill I like to call it the death hill because you're going to get bruised if you freaking ride this over and over again. Like that hill is insane. You get a mix of great laterals mixed in with ejector airtime. That's just crazy how it is. After the crazy death hill like I call it, we're going to go into one more pop of sustained ejector airtime in the back row. It's a crazy moment. And you're going to go into a pretty steep bank turn into the final brake run. And that will conclude your ride on Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay. Now you may be asking, what do I give Iron Gwazi my score, and is it my favorite coaster of all time? Yes, it is my favorite coaster of all time, and yes, it is an absolute 10 out of 10. My top 5 coasters are pretty good right now, and now Iron Gwazi really adds it on. I do think this ride is way better than Velocicoaster. If anything, Velocicoaster is more towards like being better than El Toro. but nowhere close to Iron Gwazi, and I think Steel Vengeance will be the same exact way, but between Velocicoaster and Gwazi. But overall, this ride is an absolute 10 out of 10, and absolutely is a must worth coming out the Busch Gardens Tampa for. I finally have an RMC at my home park, and honestly, it's great. Out of my 17 rides on it, this ride is definitely best at nighttime. It feels more out of control, but even day rides are really good. This ride does take a little bit to warm up, but not too long. But overall, it is really fun. I was worth the 2-year wait, guys. Hope you guys can come out to Busch Gardens Tampa to experience this amazing RMC coaster. That is going to do it from me today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Tell me what you guys think of Iron Gwazi. Have you guys ridden it? And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Like, comment, subscribe, and tell me what you guys thought in the video. I'll see you guys in the next video, and bye.